money in certain places where we know in the name of providing health care for the citizenry. Wasifikiria hatujui, tunajua na tunaona. Sasa wameendelea, wanasema sasa ukiwa na kuku utalipa ushuru. Watakuja kuhesabu kuku kwako nyumbani. Vifaranga ngapi umepata jana? Atitoa 50 shillings kwa kifaranga moja. Ng'ombe ngapi imesaliwa? Which calf ngapi kwako? Sasa, that's why I said what we are driving at now is a wash economy. And kiongozi bwana Wandai, wacha nikueleze. Taxing the agricultural product is a preserve of the county governments. Waende wasome katiba ya Kenya vizuri. Sijui kama ni mawakili wamekosa ama ni nini. Agricultural produce cannot be taxed by the national government unless there's value added products when they have been processed. If you process them, they become something else, you have added value. Then you can tax VAT. But raw agricultural products, it's only the county government that is supposed to tax through what it calls cess. And the single business license that they also charge for those who are selling those things wherever. And what you pay at the market level. Now the national government tax everything else. It is not raising enough money for its wash programs. Now it is going down there to look at ni banana ngapi umeleta kwa soko, mama mboga umeleta mawele kilo ngapi, mama mboga ile ng'ombe yako imbata masiwa ngapi. Sasa hii mama mboga, na wewe ulichukua serikali ukisema mama mboga ndio unaenda kusaidia, misigo yote umeanza kumwekelea, umempeleka, umefuata, sasa unampeleka fuata kwa nyumba yake. Pale anaweka kuku, pale anaweka mawele. And the truth is you won't raise any money because you have to expand the economy for it to produce money. Now when you are killing the economy, you won't get any money. So I don't understand why you think you'll get money. Nikimalizia, mimi najua serikali yetu ilienda ikatuachia IMF na World Bank. Sasa ndio wanatuongoza. Hawa ndio sasa wanaongoza policy zao. Naambiwa fanya hivi, usipofanya. Na unajua hiyo ndio nyinyi mlikataa. Wewe na Kibaki mkasema hapana. Lazima tuchukue uchukani tuongoze Kenya yetu sisi wenyewe, kwa sababu sisi ndio tunajua tunaelekea wapi tuweze kuenda mbele. Now our country is captured. It's captured by those who are there. Real capture, state capture. Wachana hiyo mnaambiwa. Real state capture is now. Every sector of the economy imeshikiliwa na hawa wash people namna hii. They have invited the foreigners to come also work with them in mruking us. That is why no sector is performing. Hakuna, niambie sekta moja nieleze moja ile inafanya kazi. Ni gani? Sekta ya kilimo inafanya kazi? Kahawa ndio hiyo tuliambiwa katero inafukuzwa, sijui nini. Hata wale walikuwa wananunua wakafukuzwa. Sasa tuko chini huko. Majani chai inaenda hivi. Hata pesa wakipata ya kigeni wanakata dola za wakulima wanaweka. Hiyo tunajua. Hiyo sekta iko hivi. Manufacturing naona wakifunga. Soon we are going to be in ICU. And that's why we are saying we can't wait. And that's why we are saying Baba utatuongoza tuweze kuokoa Kenya. Si ile yao ile. Ni sio hiyo yao hiyo. Tuweze kurudisha uchumi wetu pale ilikuwa tuweze kuenda mbele. Otherwise tukiendelea hivi sijui tutakuwa namna gani miaka ingine 3. Wangapi wanasema tushikane hivyo tuendelee namna hii? Wangapi wanasema Azimio iendelee kusimama imara? Wangapi wanasema PNU endelee kuwa kwa Azimio tukienda mbele? Na tusiwe na wasiwasi na kuwa na agenda ya parokio. Sisi tunatoka huku, sijui hawa natoka wapi. Ukitoka huko na mwingine anatoka kule, ndio unapata nini? What matters is opportunity, economic opportunity. Hata ukitoka mahali ukuwe na mtu wako hapo ambaye anakumaliza na unasema ni wako. Kama vile senator wetu alisema, friendly fire kills. So if your brother messes up the economy and you can't take your children to school, what is the story about him being your brother? This is nonsense, isn't it? Ndugu yako hauna shinda na yeye afanye mambo yake kwa nyumba yake, kwake nyumbani. You don't have an issue with that. Lakini mambo ya uchumi na kuendesha nchi ipatiwe wale wanafanya nini? Wale wanaweza. Tunaelewana? Kwa hivyo bila kuendelea zaidi, nataka kusema kutoka hapa wiki nyingine mbili, next week, towards the end of the next week, tutakuwa Meru. Tunataka kuanza kufungua ofisi Meru, ya branch ya Meru na recruitment. It is already kicked up, imeanza leo. Alafu after that tutakuwa Murang'a. Tuko na program, I'm announcing the first 2 stopovers. Tunaanza Meru the other weekend, not this one. Alafu after that tutakuwa Murang'a. After that to announce the other destinations, but that's where we're starting. We want to move. Hii shinda ya Kenya itangoja sisi tukikaa tukiongea tukipiga ngumzo tu. Lazima tuhusike na tuonekane na tugumze na wananchi. Wameanza kuelewa, tuwaeleze zaidi tuweze kuenda mbele. Kwa hivyo nataka sasa kwa heshima kubwa tusimame sisi sote, tuweke ile wimbo siwi ni gani ya kumkaribisha baba hapa aweze kutuzungumzia. Hiyo weka, hiyo ni Azimio, si ndio? Siweke kwanza basi, ama ingine kama huku na hiyo sio lazima. Basi DJ. Pigeni baba makofi tena. Makofi ya mkaribisho kiongozi wetu wa miaka mingi ambaye he has never let Kenya down. He has never, look at his history. You can say so many other things, but kama kuna kiongozi patriotic who has had Kenya at his heart for all those years, he has been there. Ni huyu baba. Hawa wengine waoshi. Taki kusema mengi mimi. Basi mpigieni makofi sasa atuzungumzie.
Asante. Haya. PNU hoye. PNU hoye. Nasema PNU. PNU. Kazi endelee. Kazi endelee. Asante sana. Kiongozi wa PNU na viongozi wengine wote ambao wamefika hapa siku ya leo. Viongozi wa PNU pande hii, hamjambo? Hamjambo tena. We've come at the invitation of Mr. Munya kwa hii hafla ya leo ya PNU. And we are very happy to be here today, because PNU is part of our history of multi-party democracy. And as you know, members or the founders of PNU were with us at the inception of multipartyism in this country. The fight for multipartyism in Kenya was a very, very hard and bloody one. And many Kenyans lost their lives in doing that struggle. So the day when ultimately KANU went to Kasarani and the declaration was made to remove that section 2A, was a historic day for Kenyans. They said tutoe ile section 2A, Bianyalo alisema tuwache hawa watu. And then we were Ford exploded. Kenyans were everywhere on the streets. So after that, parties came up. Since that time, it was first originally only Ford. Then came DP. Eventually Ford split into Ford Asili, Ford Kenya, and so on and so forth. But then we moved on, and we ensured when we were writing our new constitution to state in there that Kenya is a multi-party democracy. This was because of the period that Kenyans went through a very bloody dictatorship of single party. And we said, never again will Kenyans agree to go back to that kind of situation. So I'm happy to be here when PNU is celebrating 15 years. It reminds me of my late friend, Emilio Mwai Kibaki, a great Kenyan by all the standards. Mwai Kibaki was a very simple person. You talk to Kibaki and the man of very few words. He did not speak many things. And after you say something which he does not agree with, just say, huyo ni mjinga. Yamesema ni mpumbavu huyo tu. Wachana na yeye. So, past Kibaki was in DP, when Ford, eventually Ford Kenya, and so on. But ultimately, we decided to come together. We decided to come together because of historical reasons. When Moi was trying to impose leadership in the country, we said no to Moi. And we met, and it took us a long time to come together. Ultimately, we agreed we were going to come together. But the problem was who was going to lead this coalition. Everybody wanted. We were 7 of us. We said ourselves we are going to Uhuru Park. And we want to go there and tell the Kenyans who is the leader. Oh, let's go there today and tell them we're going to come back in 2 weeks and tell you who is the candidate. I knew that that was not going to work. So when we went back, when we went to Uhuru Park, I had the last word as the leader of the LDP. And I mustered the courage to say, no, si Mzee Kibaki anatosha. The whole field went wild. Kibaki tosha. Kibaki tosha. And that's what the people were waiting for. And after that, NAC came together and brought the people of Kenya together. And we then went to elections and we won the elections. They said in leading international journals and papers, including New York Times and the Times of London, that Kenyans were the most optimistic people in the world at that time. Kenyans believe yote inawezekana. Why? Because they said they were unbogable. They were unbogable. And that was the spirit of NARC. Unfortunately, because Kibaki had suffered the accident, Kibaki was infirm. Some opportunists took charge and created an ideology of split. These are basically the elites around Kibaki. They're the ones who created the blood in NARC, which ended with the eventual split of NARC. And that is why we had a problem at Bomas of Kenya. And then why we ended up with oranges and bananas. And then since we ended up with ODM and the PNU. I'm giving you that history to know that PNU and ODM have one common origin. They are children of NARC that we had formed. So I come to you here as a leader of a sister party, ODM and PNU are sisters, okay? And but there's nothing wrong with party splitting. It's a normal thing. Even if you go to Europe, you have these things. Even in the USA, it's the same thing. And parties profess different ideologies. But that is the need. That is the what you call the diversity of society that we need. Pluralism. If you go to the UK, you've got the Liberal Party. You have the Democratic, you have the Labour Party. You have the Conservative Party. The US, there are several political parties. You want to hear of the Republicans and the Democrats. But there are very many other political parties in the United States of America. So we have here in our place, we're going to form a coalition that we call Azimio. Azimio is a coalition of several political parties that have come together. And this is because of our current political history and situation. And Azimio is as strong as its constituent parties are strong. A house cannot be strong without strong pillars. Hiyo hema pale mko hapo haiwezi kusimama kama hakuna hizo mlingoti ambaye imeshika hizo pembe. So the stronger PNU, the stronger Jubilee, a stronger Wiper, a stronger NARC Kenya, and a stronger ODM, a stronger DAP equals to a stronger Azimio. And that's why you've seen ODM launch membership drive. And we started in Nyanza, we finished all the counties of Nyanza. We went to Western, we finished all the counties of Western. This last week we were in the coast, and we finished all the counties in the coast. We will be doing the Rift Valley. We will be doing Northeastern. We will come to Eastern and the mountain region as ODM. So we encourage PNU and all other constituent parties to do the same. This way, Azimio will become strong. If these constituent parties are strong, there are areas you call the strongholds of PNU. So when I go there, I don't talk about PNU. When I go there, I just encourage members there to be PNU. And I also say ODM is also available. Like this Saturday, I'm going to be in Meru. You're good with Monya. Yes, he's going to be there next week. When I go there, I'll send his greetings. He'll do the same wherever he is. Wherever I've been to, I've conveyed greetings of all the leadership of Azimio. This is where we are. But currently, this regime is failing because of poor advice. Because of poor advice. And I want to give them a free advice. You know, when we came to government, we found a government that was bankrupt. Kibaki himself was sick, but he could give us advice of what to do in his sick bed. But we were there, implemented what we agreed on as our policies. Look, for example, we had promised the people that we are going to implement a free primary education from day one. When we entered, we found a bankrupt economy. But Kibaki told us, because we had promised this to the people, we must implement it. We must implement it. He was in this sick bed when he was talking to me. And I went and told our people, we must implement free primary education this first term. It was January. And we started implementing free primary education from the first year that we went into government, because it was a promise. And immediately the enrollment shot up. The facilities were overwhelmed. There were no classrooms. Children were learning under the trees. People enrolled up to 84-year-old, Mr. Marubi. But we said it will go on. Then some donors began to come up. USAID, DFID, so come to give us assistance to put up structures, classrooms, and so on and so forth. It was implemented, and eventually it became a true success. The issue of this housing problem that these people are struggling with is not a new thing. It is in our manifesto as Azimio. They didn't have it in their manifesto. They borrowed it, but they don't know how to implement it. Us, we knew how to implement it. You see, when I was at the beginning, I was a minister for roads, public works, and housing. Housing was in my docket. Roads was in my docket. Public works, all the public buildings were in my docket. First, I traveled all across the country. I went to all the districts at that time. The first 3 months. I was looking at the status of roads. I was looking at the status of public works and housing generally. I came back and wrote a paper which I presented to the cabinet. And I said that for this government to make an impact that people can see that there's a change in our country, I need more money in my docket. So I want each and every ministry to donate 5% of their budget to my ministry. Some members in the cabinet opposed me. Members supported me. And Kibaki supported me. So my ministry was given more money for this program. And that is how we began to, because most of the roads in the country were dilapidated. Those had been tarmacked. And we had only 9,000 kilometers of tarmac roads. Of those 9,000 kilometers, 45% was in deplorable condition, requiring complete recarpeting. But I needed more money to build new roads. So I found when the cost of constructing roads was 55 million shillings per kilometer, a standard 5-meter gauge road. I sat with my engineers down, and we went to nuts and bolts. What is it that you require to tarmac 1 kilometer of a road? As an engineer, now I'm talking as an engineer. And we find out, eventually reduced the cost from 55 million shillings to 20 up to 25 million shillings per kilometer. That is where the money was getting lost. So you can be taxing people to do roads, but if you don't look at nuts and bolts, most of it is just going to go to people's private pockets. So we were able now, and we are also widening the gauge, 6 meters instead of 5 meters, plus soldiers for cyclists and pedestrians. But it's still between 20 to 25 million shillings, from 55 million shillings. Then, in the issue of public works, there are so many public works which have been abandoned over the country. Provincial headquarters, district headquarters, hospitals, colleges, schools, and so on, which are built and left just hanging there. Went around. And I said, before we start new projects, we complete all these white elephant projects and put the money. And we completed all of them. All those which were, you see, you saw the Nyayo, how do you call it? Nyayo, the one on Thika Road. Nyayo, what? It was for vehicles up there. And then we had provincial headquarters in Kisumu, there was one in Mbale, in Vihiga, there was one in Chicago, there was all over the place, and hospitals. But the housing, affordable housing thing, was an issue. I went to Malaysia, I went to Singapore, I went to Korea, and saw what they had done in what you call this affordable housing scheme thing. I came back here and revised the housing policy, how to roll out this housing program. And the day I presented it in Parliament, and it was approved in Parliament, because I found a very old housing policy which had been in place since 1966. The day it was approved, there was a cabinet reshuffle, and housing was removed from my docket. But I continue to push this affordable housing thing. The most successful example is found in South Korea, so done by General Park Chung-hee. And it is founded on basic fundamental human rights for the people. If you go there, we have put them in our constitution. It is also in the ODM manifesto. 1, the right to life. Every Kenyan has a right to life. Number 2, the right to food. Each and every Kenyan has a right to food. 3, right to shelter. Each and every Kenyan has a right to shelter. Nobody should sleep on the streets. 4, right to health. Every Kenyan has a right to health and Medicare. If one is sick, whether they have money or they have no money, they have a right to Medicare. 5, right to education. Every child born in our country has a right to education, even if the parents have no money. From primary, from nursery, primary, secondary, up to university. Then right to work and so on and so forth. But if you're doing this affordable housing thing, it must be affordable. We came up with slum upgrading in towns, because we found that in Nairobi, 60% of the population here live in slums. And we started with Kibra, which was in my constituency, to do slum upgrading, that program. And how do you do it? Because it's not a standard thing as one size fits all. that you have got one design of flats or apartments, and people are paying so much, and you're going to deduct to go and construct. First, you're solving basic problems. You're solving the problem of shelter, housing. But secondly, you must also solve the problem of work. 3, the problem of education. 4, the problem of health care. So all those settlements which are being done there, they're not the same designs, depend on the need and the area. Here, people are going to be living here. Where are they going to work? Where is the market? Where is the health center? Where is the school? So it becomes one community. One community. So these people have a place where they're going to work. Like in Kibera, the program we came up with, it has not been implemented. We're going to put up apartments. But we're also going to put up shops where people will work and create wealth. Then there's going to be a market where they will take their wares. There's going to be a health center. There's going to be a school for the children. That's what you call integrated development. And people apply, those who want houses. Some of them are made to pay a deposit. The government made provision in the budget for rolling out this program countrywide. So there are definitely beneficiaries who are going to benefit, who will not lack beneficiaries, who will come voluntarily to agree, 10% I will pay, 15% I will pay. But not that each and every person must pay, whether you're going to benefit from this program or not. You must pay. Even if you have a house already, you don't need a house. You must pay. Upende, usipende. You look at upende, usipende, tulizika na katiba mkongwe. Hatutaki kusikia tena. Hatutaki tena kusikia mambo ya upende, usipende. Hiyo ilienda na nyayo. Kwa hivyo sisi wa Kenya, kama mnataka tufanye hii maneno, watu waketi chini. Let us have a proper dialogue, a national dialogue, of how this program is going to be rolled, so people own it properly. Let people understand what you want to do. Then it will be owned. When we were making transformation with Kibaki, we convened a conference at Bomas of Kenya. 1 week, we called the Kenya We Want. The Kenya We Want. And people dialogued and agreed what needed to be done in our country. But then we also set up a think tank, which is called NESC, National Economic and Social Council, which was a think tank where people, experts from Malaysia, from Singapore, from Korea, from Britain, and we had also experts from within the country here. NESC was meeting once every 3 months to come up with ideas. It's through NESC that we came up with the Vision 2030. It's through NESC that we came up with the idea of SGR, LabSet, this Konza city, ICT city in Konza, tourist centers, economic processing zones. Those were thought out clearly, things which were clearly thought out, how they are going to be rolled out in the country. Think tank, NESC was meeting every 3 months, co-chaired by Kibaki and myself. Most of the time, Kibaki will chair the first meeting, but I will chair all the other meetings. I chaired the last NESC meeting in February 2013. It has not been held up to today. So this is running around without any think tank, no thinking, just just tutafanya hii, tumeandika katika manifesto yetu, but nobody is thinking. This regime is moving like a blind person in the highway. It is very unfortunate indeed. Azimio. I don't want to bore you much longer. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Pigeni baba makofi mazuri. Anatueleza vyema the thinking that went behind the policies during their coalition government with Kibaki. It's one thing to see something successful. It's another thing to know what goes behind it for it to flourish. Nothing comes. That's why we are calling this government wash. Because there is no thinking and the time to plan for anything. So anything goes. You can call it a government of anything. Anything goes. Baba has explained what real housing program is, what it is and where it has been done. In Rwanda here it was done. First of all, they started with indicating grass-thatched houses for the very poor who are nothing. Inakuwa a national program funded by government funds, government budget. Now you don't go back asking people for money again, because even the government money is people's money, isn't it? Now you go asking poor people who have nothing, they are not able to build a house. Civil servants who can even not afford a mortgage, you are telling them, pay money, we build you a house. Kwa sababu lengo ni pesa, watu, hiyo ni biashara ya watu. Kuna watu wameambiwa kwa kila simiti utapata hii. Kwa kila chuma siwi ngapi utapata hii. Kwa ile balasi utapata hii. Tunajua. Sasa ni mnapewa mdomo tu kunjuni, nyumba mnajengewa. That's why you can see them getting very annoyed when the court say no. You have not followed the right procedure in the law. Follow the law. You want to do housing? There is a process. Follow it. Wanakuwa very annoyed kwa sababu kuna commitment somewhere. If it doesn't work, if it does not work, there are certain commitments that have been given somewhere. So things won't work. Hiyo ndio unaona shinda. Mimi sitaki kuongea saindi, baba ameeleza. Tunataka sasa tuweze kuingia kwa ile awamu ya mwisho ya launching the launching ya celebration na ile kukata keki. Lakini nilikuwa nataka tu nionyeshe viongozi wapya wale wameingia kwa chama yetu wajulikane tu. Bwana Chege yako wapi? Chege Majusi. It's one of our youngest members. Nataka tu aweze kuonekana ni kiongozi wa vijana, hata sisi kuzungumza kwa sababu ya time. Seme tu salamu. Salamu tu.
Ningetaka kuwasalimia. Mimi kwa majina ni Joseph Chege Majusi. Baba, nimekuwa kwa ofisi yako na vijana wangu na nikakwambia Azimio tukikaa pamoja huyu mtu hata kura 1,000,000 hawezi pata. Thank you so much, na sitaki kuongea sana kwa sababu ya wakati.
Bwana Kiruka kiongozi mwingine supavu pia anatujoin hapa leo. Salamu tu. I'm receive officially.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Peter Munya. Mheshimiwa baba, hii safari tumetoka mbali. And I believe hii wakati huyu Zakayo huyu lazima ashuke. Na tunasema vizuri, either ashuke ama tukate nini? Tukate nini? Na yako goroko.
Thank you very much. Sasa kwa sababu ya muda, kuna viongozi wako hapo, ni kuwaonyesha tu, sio kuzungumza. Najua Meru tuko na SBA wengi na walikuwa na ceremony huko ndio hawakuweza kufika, lakini wawakilishi wako wandogo. Tawaonyesha tu, hakuna speeches tafadhali.
Haya, MCAs wetu wanaweza simama and wave to the crowd tafadhali, kama wako hapa. Wapi makofi yao? Asante sana. That is an integral part ya chama. Sasa tumefikia tamati, na hakuwezi kuwa na birthday bila keki. Hakuwezi kuwa na birthday bila keki. Haya, wapi wimbo wetu tukileta keki?
Cha PNU, chama cha pendeza, kazi iendelee. Chama chetu cha PNU, chama cha pendeza, kazi iendelee. Chama chetu cha PNU, Nairobi, kazi Kenya iendelee. Mombasa, chama chetu cha PNU, Meru, kazi Kenya iendelee. Nakuru, chama chetu cha PNU, Laikipia, kazi Kenya iendelee. Kisumu, chama chetu cha PNU, Naivasha, kazi Kenya iendelee. Na Embu, chama chetu cha PNU, Naruya, kazi Kenya iendelee. Wakamba, chama chetu cha PNU, kazi Kenya iendelee.
Sasa party leader atatusaidia kukata keki akisaidiwa na kinara wetu baba, si ndio? Wapi makofi? Thank you. Yes. Not everyone, Wacha tuongozwe na party leader. Chairman, karibu. Yes. Haya, cameraman. Oh, mko hapa. Haya. Haya, msifunike. Haya. Okay. Haya, cameraman ndio hawa. Haya. Asante. Haya, party leader, unaweza tuongoza ukisaidiana na baba kukata keki. 15 years PNU.
Tamu keki ni tamu tamu keki ni tamu
Haya, baba ataonja keki.
Tamu keki ni tamu
Yo, baba anaonja keki ya PNU at 15. Thank you very much, Chairman. Asante sana. Other leaders, ni muonje keki.
Mchezo wa meno hakuna kucheza na miguu, bali mchezo wa meno.
Wanaikonya keki kwale. Keki ni tamu kwale. Kaikate sote. Tunarudisha Afrika.
Baba will propose a toast for us.
Hello. In honor of PNU's long life of 50 years, we want PNU to have many more years of life. For 15 years of PNU, cheers! 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 PNU hoye! Hoye! PNU hoye! Hoye! PNU hoye! Hoye!
Okankwinyo tekauyo teraina gwa kanjere kana gwa ane mwene